Welcome along to the Red Bull Ring. Breathe in that fresh alpine air. The hills are alive with the sound of F1. It's practice time here in Austria.
I've had a chat with the R&D team about the new parts and we're happy that they've been integrated into the car okay. With any luck you'll be able to feel the improvement, so go and give them a try. Don't push the car just yet. Track is still green. Try to take it easy for the first couple of laps. Okay, test complete, and that was a really good job indeed. You got a lot of valuable information out of that. Well done. temperature's so important for your tyres. Cool down laps are now vital after a push lap so that we don't light up the rubber too much, not to mention recharging the battery. We need to be sure we can manage the tyres through a lap, so try to keep the wear down through each corner. Be especially careful accelerating on corner exit. Great work, we've hit our secondary target time. Now let's try and repeat that in qualifying. Fantastic lap, that's beaten our secondary target time. Program complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can take you through the numbers. Okay, be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage. Car repairs have set us back a little. Okay, we need a few solid laps here to help us calculate a good race strategy. Okay, test complete, and that was a really good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. Well done.
What an incredible practice session that was. But the fun doesn't stop here though. Join us again as the rest of the weekend unfolds. Up in the mountains here at Spielberg, it's time for qualifying on what will be the fastest laps of the season. Stand by for qualifying at the Austrian Grand Prix.
Everyone ready? Okay, let's go. less than 1 lap of fuel left now. The tank's pretty much empty. Okay, we've been pushed down to P13. Mind that front wing, it's going to need replacing if it takes too much damage. We've had to spend time repairing the damage to the car. only got 1 lap of fuel remaining. Looks like rain is inbound and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes until the rain.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of Turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Maverick lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Norris, Sainz, Russell, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Stroll, Ocon, Ricciardo, Albon, Bottas, Gasly, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Joe and Logan Sargent. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And alongside me, a man, well, what more can I say? But he's a legend. Anthony Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. Now, you're the racing driver in this partnership, so tell us about this racing driver. Put us in their shoes. How are they going to be feeling?
Well, you've got to be prepared, Crofty. Before you even step foot inside the car, you've got to know, you've got to have a pre-race game plan. You've watched videos before you get into the car of previous races gone by. You know where you have...
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. Great work, that's a new fastest lap of the race. Okay mate, this is the final lap of the race, final lap.
Nice one. Very lovely drive. On to the next one.
And that is 7 wins in a row. What a brilliant job you're doing out there. I couldn't ask for any more.
So with the sprint concluded, join us next time for qualifying and of course the main event, this weekend's Formula 1 Grand Prix. We'll see you next time. High up in the mountains here at Spielberg, it's time for qualifying on what will be the fastest laps of the season.
just been pushed down into P18. Less than 1 lap of fuel left now, the tank's pretty much empty. Okay, here's an update. We've got a leak in the hydraulic system, so it's going to be a few minutes before we can get you back out on track, I'm afraid. And we've dropped to P12. Max is sitting in pole, he's in pole position. Less than 1 lap of fuel left now, the tank's pretty much empty. There's debris on the tyres. This is going to cause reduced grip until they clear.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. Not long to go before our drivers hurtle off the line and into the first turn, the Niki Lauda curve. It was renamed in 2019 in memory of one of Formula One's most beloved figures. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of around 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill of turn 3. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Maverick lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Russell, Tsunoda, Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Hülkenberg, Ocon, Ricciardo, Bottas, Albon, Magnussen, Joe, Stroll, and Logan Sargent. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'd give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. Look, we know it's not where you start, it's where you finish. But let's talk about the start now. What's there to help the drivers get away well?
Big pressure at the start of the race, Crofty, for all of them up and down the grid, no matter where you are. But the drivers these days, they practice, practice and practice. They have rigs with them at the circuit where they can sit down with the actual steering wheel from the real car, and they've got lights that they react to. The clutch paddle is tailored around the driver's hands, around their fingers, so they can have optimum position before they start. So there's so much thought and effort that goes into getting these cars off the line.
DRS now enables. DRS enables. job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. Okay, mate, we've got some clear track in front of us, and let's make the best of it. So please make this next one a very fast lap. Okay, unlucky mate, that wasn't quite what we needed, but let's not worry about it. Get your head down and chin up, there's a long way to go. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Okay, mate, final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home.
Nice one. Very lovely drive. On to the next one.
9 race wins in a row. Wow, we are speechless here on the pit wall. Enjoy this result.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Austria. And a truly magnificent drive to hang on and take the win.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.